Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds. Today, we'll talk about a new cycle of lands from Zendikar Rising.
That's right, the mythic rare double face lands.
One face, two face. I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We've been doing this Worth It series lately. We love it. We're doing deck techs, we're doing upgrades, we're talking about all the new Zendikar stuff. So if you like it, you got to subscribe to the channel, and then we can do more of them.
And besides, you want to be subscribed to this channel because our subscribers are 10% less likely to be two-faced.
Disclaimer got here. No one actually has two faces.
Like the Batman villain.
That's what we were talking about.
Yes, they're less likely to get half their face burned off.
Oh, geez, you better subscribe now. I mean, that seems like almost the best one we've done. The best disclaimer we've done. All right, anyway, Zendikar is almost fully spoiled or will be fully spoiled at this point, and we know the 5 mythic rare double face lands, and we wanted to specifically talk about these. We want to give them their own whole video. Why is that?
Because there's a lot of things here. One, these cards are insane. They're insanely strong. And some people might sleep on them, but we're going to tell you why. There's a lot of reasons here. I'm not going to get into it right away, but they're so good.
Initial hot take is these are 5 new immediate staples in like everything.
These are insane in so many different decks. So let's just go over like what makes them so insane. So we'll go over the cards specifically in a minute. We'll read each one of them and we'll say what we like about them. But these are versatile. When you need to have a land that comes in tapped, it's a land that comes in tapped. When you need a land where you need it untapped, it comes in untapped. When you draw this late game, it's no longer a land. These are all spells that have a huge impact on the game. I mean, all of them have at least a decent impact. Like even the worst ones, you have to remember these aren't going in your spell slots. That's not where you're putting these. If you have a mono white deck with, let's say, 38 lands, that's what you play. Now you have a mono white deck with 38 lands, and somehow it's got it's not got an extra spell also.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing how like ridiculously good this is. I'm just trying to think of all my decks, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I have all these lands. Would I cut a basic land for a worse basic that has a marginal downside in a 40 life format and has the upside of just being, these are all 7 mana ish, like splashy mythics, like they're kind of janky. If they were just printed as a sorcery, they would all be bad. But the fact that they just have this, you're replacing a land with a different land. That's the main, like probably 80-20, you're going to play the land 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time you just have this weird spell that's going to do something.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to, the fact is, these effects, some of them are very good, some of them are very medium, but like it doesn't matter that the card is extremely medium in the middle. It's a land on the other side, and that's the side you're using the most, more than likely. So let's move into them.
We'll read them.
Yeah, so the first one is Amaris Call. What does that one do?
Yes, 4 white. You make 2 4/4 flying angels, and then your non-angel creatures gain indestructible until your next turn.
So this will, say you're scared of a board wipe, this will let you go around the whole board potentially to like just not get wiped. The only thing the only thing that'll die is your angels, because this is a weird card. Again, this card, if this didn't have the land on the other side, this card is probably unplayable, I would say.
All the lands, we'll say now, every land is Emeria, like the Emeria Shattered Skyclave on the other side. It's a tap land that makes white, but as it enters, you can pay 3 life and have it enter untapped.
Yes. So they're bolt lands on the other side.
Yeah, the bolt lands. Strictly better than the shock lands.
We finally got the bolt lands.
It's about time. I love when they print cool monocolor lands. Like last time they did it was Throne of Eldraine, and then they did it in Amonkhet, and I love every time they do cool monocolor lands.
Yeah, they are very unique. So that one fits into like creature decks where maybe if all you need to do is say, if my creatures survive one go around the table, this card is great for you, because if you have a board that's like, okay, I'm going to kill one player and then there's 2 left, and if I get board wiped, I'm out of the game. But if I cast a spell, now I get 2 angels and I can't be board wiped.
Well, if you want to think about what decks this goes in, I'm trying to think of what deck this doesn't go in that's white and 2 colors or just white. Like I'm thinking of every 2 color combination, like blue-white. If there's like a blue-white control deck, I don't know. Like then you're allowed to play more. You can just play more tap lands. So I don't even think I would exclude it. from like blue-white control but then the only thing that shifts is maybe it's 90% of land and 10% of spell now. But that's still so much better than stupid land.
It's so much better, yeah. Next one is Seagate Restoration. There's no more wreckage. We have restored it.
I was just going to check in. I was wondering, this is probably why we went back. I was like, what's going to happen to all my homies at Seagate? Where are they now? Yeah, it's 4 blue, blue, blue. For sorcery, you draw cards equal to the number of your cards in your hand plus 1.
So this is going to, basically, it just doubles your hand because it's replacing itself, essentially, with the plus 1. If you have a deck that's going to keep hand size big, this card is already decent for your deck because there is not a ton of cards that can draw you cards on this level.
Yeah, there's the Mythic Rare comes to mind from Ixalan. It's 7 mana, draw 7, and I think that card is awful because it's a sorcery speed, 7 mana, draw 7. But if only it were a land on the other side where there's just no, your get out of jail free card is a land.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. Just an untapped, it's untapped if you need it, it's tapped if you need it. It's only 3 life. 40 life is so much life. God, yeah. It's so much life.
I think we'd be a lot less impressed if Commander was a 20 life format or a 30 life format. Like looking back at these for Standard, I don't know how good they're going to be because it's way different. But in Commander, it's just a free roll. Your first 10 damage is a joke. It doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah, it's almost practically nothing. This one's great, especially if you're keeping your hand size up. The only big giant spell I kind of like this is the rebound one where you draw equal to somebody else's hand.
Even that one is 6. That feels a lot different to me.
That's the only one I can think of that's like similar.
Yeah, that I would play.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are usually, this is probably the worst one, but no big deal. Next, Agadeem's Awakening and Agadeem the Undercrypt. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost, X or less. At first, when I read this card, I was really confused. And this is the second take of us saying that because Joe was confused about it. It's if you pay 4 mana as X, so it's 4 black, 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 you're going to get any number of different costs 4 or less. So you can get a 4-drop, a 3-drop, a 2-drop, a 1-drop, and a 0-drop back from your graveyard.
Yeah, kind of like Seasons Pass, but it has to be X or under. So if you pay 6, the highest thing you can get is 6, and then you can go straight down from there. You get everything 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I don't know how many 0-drops you're really playing in EDH, but maybe 1 or 2.
This was the last one that was spoiled, and it might be the best one because it's so, like the X part of it is flexible, and you can just get back a 2-drop if you really need to. This one might be more 60% land, 40% spell. And also, or 60% spell, 40% land, whatever.
Yeah, also in like a mono black deck where you can make big mana, which mono black does a lot.
How?
The Cabal Coffers, actually. That's how they usually do it. This is, if you can cast this for like 10, and your graveyard is just filled with nonsense, it doesn't even, like, you probably, 10's a lot. 10's probably too much. You're never going to probably do it for 10. 6 is probably, or 7, depending on how big your deck goes. You're just going to get so much back. And, like, it's mono black. You're going to get a Gary back. And how much devotion you're going to have because you just cast a spell. A ton.
We just built a black-white cleric deck. This is slam dunk for that. You win the game with that, basically.
Absolutely. It goes straight in. I mean, these cards are so good. They go in straight in most decks.
Once again, Seagate Restoration, I'm thinking that doesn't really go. I'm not seeing it as much in 3+ color decks, but this one I could see in like a Jund deck or something.
I see Seagate Restoration being in a 3-color control deck. That's where you want it.
Right, control. Maybe not, but I'm not saying like it's on a free roll in all of them. But again, all 5 of these, every 2-color combination, I'm just in. I'm in for it. And every monocolor is a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. These are just straight up staples if you're playing monocolor. Yeah, there's no way you don't play these. You need a reason not to play them. Like, I think that's how good they are, seriously. Yeah, I agree. Next one is Shatter Skull Smashing / Shatter Skull the Hammer Pass. Shatter Skull Smashing deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, Shatter Skull Smashing deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead.
This card's also kind of weird because if you want to go 2 and 2 and then you double it and you get the X of 6 or more, you don't have to go 4 and 4. You can go like 8 or 6 and 2
or 8 and 1.
No, that's 9.
I know.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say 7 and 1. But this card again, this is a bad removal spell, but it's a free roll. So it doesn't matter that it's a bad removal spell because 80% of the time you play this as a weird mountain, and then the 20% of the time that you draw it late game, you go, Well, now I get to remove the 2 biggest threats from the board.
Or just say, I'm going to, hurt your planeswalker and kill your utility creature because I have nothing better to do on turn 5. Like, that's just good. That's just like you can get a 2-for-1 out of it.
Yeah, there's plenty. Yeah, this can be played early. If you can play this for potentially against an Elf deck. Elf decks get completely run over by killing 2 of their little dorks.
Yeah, there's plenty of annoying things that come down early. Like, oh, they played their Walking Ballista. Well, I can take that out now, and then I'll use maybe 1 or 2 more damage on even a stupid token. If you want to kill something, the other one's free.
Yeah, exactly. And the very last one of these is Turn Timbers Sowing / Turn Timber Serpentine Wood. 4 green, green, green. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If that creature's converted mana cost is 3 or less, it enters the battlefield with 3 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, because we don't want you to have to click an extra time on Arena.
Absolutely. I think this one's weird. I do like that if you whiff, you still get at least a bigger version of the worst creature that you got.
Yeah. Again, bad spell.
Yeah, I don't know if this in the blue one. Maybe this is worse than the blue one. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
irrelevant.
how bad these spells are.
In my Simic deck, guess which cards are going in? Both of these.
Yeah, it's just like I said. It just doesn't matter how bad these are because on the other side there's a land, and that's what you're going to use most of the time. That's what you're going to need most of the time. It's going to help. Like sometimes even late game, you're going to be like, well, I have plenty of stuff to do with my mana. You're just going to be like, well, I'll have an extra mana.
Yeah.
And like that's going to happen a lot. But then sometimes you're going to have 7 mana laying around and be like, well, I'll cast this bad spell and hope I hit like my, I don't know, Pulamog or something.
Right. Pulamog is Nitpicking Nerd speak for Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger.
Obviously.
We don't say that enough. I do like saying it though. So moving on to like general discussion, I was just thinking these cards get so much better, at least the Bant colored ones do, in a deck that can cast spells for free. Because they're lands that's like if you have a Golos. Like they're lands that sometimes you just get Amaris Call for free and you just get 2 4/4s.
Oh, absolutely.
It's pretty cool. Like a Narset deck. All like the freaking blue one in Narset.
They're all good in Narset. Everyone but the red one.
Yeah, the red one's pretty poop.
Well, yeah, because Narset doesn't want to cast something.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The Bant ones where you cheat stuff out, like they're even crazier.
I mean, the other 2 are great in Narset. I mean, how good is like you said, Seagate Restoration and Narset is insane. These cards are very, very good. And just for a quick shout out right before we end this video, I want to mention if you're on a budget, the tapped version of these are going to be cheap. And we're talking about ones that have different effects. There's like an uncommon green one. This is just one example where it fights or it comes in as a tap land. That's going to be great for budget decks.
I guarantee you, every Nitpicking Nerd's budget deck from here until the end of time is going to have at least one of those in it.
Oh, for sure. And like we were just like we were talking about these. We just did a video on good tap lands. Those are going to be some of the best tap lands for your budget deck. Holy crap, they're so good for budget.
They're super sweet. Just the fact that you now have versatility. Your lands are charm spells. They're going to cost 5 cents. Some of the rare ones, maybe 50 cents. Because they're just not going to be... They just might not be good enough for standard. A tapped single-colored land that has a mediocre spell on the other side probably is not going to see standard play for most of them.
Not when there's an Uro running around. All right, that's the end of the video. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. You guys are the poopy babies and you're awesome. And if you become a poopy baby, which means you're a patron to the Nitpicking Nerds before the end of this month, which is September of 2020, you will be entered to win a Vidalcan Orrery.
The Command Zone Invitational card.
Yes, the Command Zone's favorite card.
Probably.
Yeah.
At least Josh's.
That's true.
You can also go to the description. We're going to have a link to, most likely, these 5 lands. And you can go from wherever you want, as long as you go to that link that has these 5 lands, go to the little TCG player search bar, buy what you actually want. Maybe you actually want these lands. And then we get a kickback on whatever you purchase. It helps channel out a ton.
Yeah, you guys have helped a ton through that link. If you can't get enough of me, and sometimes never busy.
I'm usually never, sometimes there.
He's never there. You can check me out on Twitch. I stream weekdays at 10 a.m. and Saturday nights. Usually a drunk stream on Saturday nights.
Ooh. Tidbit?
Tidbit about a life. So, okay, let's talk about, we already talked about this, but I want to talk about it because today, the best decks I've had in the Synergy Cube.
The Synergy Cube.
Yeah, I played again today. 7-0 with 0 synergy in my deck.
Oh, what was it? I didn't get a chance to look at that
picture.
It
was 4-color nonsense.
Okay.
Playing both Uro and Kroxa.
Okay, you need white, you need blue, blue, green, green, and you might also need black, black, red, red.
I had so much fixing, and I had a chromatic lantern to even get past that.
I would be salty losing to that.
And I had Field of the Dead because that card is that is probably my new pick one pack one for that in the cube. If I can get it, I'm just gonna force the lands right away.
He's coming around. Just picture me and EDH like that.
Oh,
If I can get it, I'm gonna force it, and I have infinite.
yeah, and you have infinite because they're not that expensive. All right. But that is a tip in my life. I just thought, 7-0. Oh, it had Bolas in it too. It was the most ridiculous deck. Obviously, I need blue, black, red, black, black, red, red.
Right. Chromatic Lantern is just in there. But we're gonna end this one.
Yeah.
Seriously, these lands are amazing. Do not sleep on them.
Yes. Peace out, Tribe Scout.